Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Holiday Edition here of, well, and I have an LA background here from Caroline Horn. So we're doing a West Coast version here. Yeah, well, hope everybody's doing well, first of all. It's been quite a week. We're going to talk about that. And thank you for being here tonight. See, Susan is on, and Esmon, you're going to be happy here in a little bit. Watch the slides. Watch the slides. And then Brielle, how are you? You guys doing well tonight? Good to see you. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Cheryl. So we have quite a bit to cover tonight. This has been quite a week. Let me just go to this little punch list that I have right off the bat. For those of you who have been following Brock's situation, Brock's story, the memorial will be September 16th, and there's a post in the Facebook group with the little poster about it. I don't know if it's going to be streamed. And then we had two more this week. I'm going to come back to that special request in a second. I needed to drop it in there just for my own notes. But Monday, hi, Susie. Hey, Letty. Oh, like, I'll read anything. When I was working I've got my teleprompter hooked up, by the way. I'm not going to use it because I'd have to squint, and I still would have to do this because the text is too small. But when I need to read stuff on there, it's great. But I have it set up now. But we had a guy in Channel 6 in Tulsa who was just a machine at reading the teleprompter. And everybody joked that they should, back in those days, it wasn't electronic like it is today. Back then, you literally sent pieces of paper on a conveyor belt. And everybody was joking that one night that they should slip in something because he'd read it just like the news, you know. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be worth your own job for that prank. So, hi, Robin. Wow, we've got, okay. And yes, okay. Got it. Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome aboard. Glad you're here. And you like that background, Melissa? Like we'll all be getting on airplanes for LA. Hey, Arnaldo. So did you pick up an hour? Is it only one now, being in Cambridge? Presume you're there on business. Hey, Tanya. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I was wondering if your sister was going to be able to join tonight too. So we were right there. Nancy Stewart. She said she thought she might be on later this evening. Hey, Mary. Glad you made it. Cool. This is what we do. We've been doing it this is month number 13. We started it in the first week of August last year. It's healing. We just do healing. We connect with the divine within, and we do healing. And protecting neighborhood people. We're going to talk about that too. We got a lot here. Okay. So, hey, Kristen, glad you're here. Thank you. So let me just, for those who joined in here, Brock's memorial will be September 16th. There's a post in the Facebook group with the details. It will be at Unity Church in Dallas. I'm going to come back to the special request. Got a text from Nancy this week that just said, Arnaldo says, 1 hour less difference from a higher timeline. God love you, man. You are amazing. So it's only 1 a.m. That's awesome. Oh, okay. Yeah, Carrie, hi. we're sending you guys love. All right, let me get down to this. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm going to focus here because I do have a couple of other things I wanted to punch through. So Nancy texted, and this is just right on the heels of the Brock thing, and said that her 37-year-old son passed in his sleep Monday night into Tuesday morning. And she was in shock, and she was numb. Nancy holds it together better than I could, but I'm sure she's had her moments. Her son was 37. I did speak to her later in the week. There was nothing in the initial autopsy, so they're looking deeper. Nothing. Just didn't wake up. She had just seen Tegan twice, once in California, because her grandson, Bodie, the 5-year-old, came to visit her in Florida for a couple of weeks. And then her son flew to Florida to pick Bodie up. And, just business as usual. Would have thought, well, we'll see you again soon. And Tuesday morning, he was gone. And he leaves a 4-month-old as well. So our prayers for Nancy. She is going to become more involved, she said, but she's in Florida in the Panhandle, and they're in the Bay Area of California. So, and then mom and wife is Tanya. So remember them, just, if you're inclined, jot their names down. And then we got word Thursday that Carrie and Tanya's dad, who we had been praying for and we knew had a challenge, Kevin Kitteridge, passed on Thursday morning from the esophageal cancer, stomach cancer. I checked in with Jan this afternoon. Her son, Rob, they're still managing pain. He is at home on hospice. Jan is taking care of her boy, watching him move toward transition. And then I haven't seen Brittany on here, but they took Jake to the vet this week. So obviously, remember, that's family, right? And then if you would drop any other requests in the chat here, and we'll just memorialize them from here. So Kathleen, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm going to get caught up on your, in fact, let's just go back up on here. So, hi, Susan. Okay, so Kathleen's wanting to get healthier. Got it. And Susan, I saw, had a post about an update that, let's just look at this together here. What are we going to do? I don't have let's see. We'll just come back over here. I'll hide. Please add me. This is Susan now talking. That she will have to go through a hysterectomy. She was hoping not to. So we will do that. I just had the thought, second opinion. I don't know if you have, but second opinion or natural? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. If you haven't thought of that, maybe. So now, two special situations. One came in just as I was getting ready here, and got a text from one of our members that was a request. And I'm back in the day when I was in the church and we were having Saturday morning prayer meetings, circle of men that would get together Saturday mornings, and this common in churches where you'd say an unspoken request. I have an unspoken prayer request. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, it just came to mind. Cheryl's like, maybe you could connect with Susan. That would be great. Cheryl has really been through a lot of stuff too. Yeah, it has been a rough week. Hi, Ricardo. Lower back. We were on that last week, weren't we? All right. So Susan, you and Cheryl might want to connect. That would be great. Hey, Brittany. I hope you're still coming. I hope you're still a 10 on our. I did a poll of everybody. Where are you on your commitment to coming to North Carolina? Are you a 5? Are you a 7? Are you? Brittany was a 10. So I'm like, okay, hanging in there. Found out that Carista and her husband got their tickets to come from Austin. So that's like, yay, got a great group coming up for our October trip. So this guy in this prayer group, and I'll just tell you why I'm a little bit reluctant on unspoken stuff, not that we're here to expose things. I mean, this is totally up to you, what is said or not said, that, right? But the unspoken request was the guy was cheating on his wife with his secretary, and his wife was in the hospital, and he was going to go tell her that they were getting a divorce while she was laying in traction. That was the unspoken prayer request. It's also why I'm glad I'm not in the church anymore. Not that that can't happen anywhere, but woo. So I promise you that this special request from one of our members is nothing on the line of that. I was informed what it is, and it is, let's just say, personally very serious request. So please we'll just leave it be that the person will be identified by the energy, and that your intentions going to that person will be connected. Okay, and I'm not sure who this is. Hop over here. Raina. Okay, Raina. Let me make a note. Okay. Let you guys read that. Then I'm going to tell you of another one. Another one. So just as I was getting ready to go get cleaned up, I have been recording. I went in the audio booth at about, I think, 8:30 this morning. Recording, editing. Got all of Glasscock's podcasts laid out. I don't know what all I did today. I didn't get back to Fred. Oh, I did Fred's book for quite a while anyway. And then a subconscious mind mastery podcast, and then prep for this. I mean, it's like, whew, here we are. So, been a busy day. And I was just getting all the video stuff set up, and I hear a little faint knock on the door. And a new neighbor, a new old neighbor, he owns a house just a little ways from here. And he was knocking on the door, and I had never met him. He had some pictures from his security camera of a man and a woman on his porch at 1:00 this morning. He took the pictures to the police this afternoon. They identified the guy instantly from the photo and said, oh yeah, he's bad news. They're up to no good. And evidently their pattern is to break in during the day. So we're also, and I just kind of thought that was going to become the theme for tonight, is especially when we get into our meditation, is, normally we kind of gotten into this grid and all connecting. We're going to do that, but we're going to put a fence around everybody, because there is some energy that I think is worth taking a look at So let me, here was something. I'm going to come back to that. Let's go to this. This was just a couple of days ago, Thursday. Huge sunspot pointed straight at Earth has developed a delta magnetic field. Okay. So here it is. It's that one on about the 4 o'clock position there, that big one. And I've got the number of it right here. It's 3089. And you can see that arrow pointing to it. This is from the app or the website, Space Weather Live. And you notice, if you see where it says class, that third column and the red letters, that's beta, gamma, delta. And there are 3 types of sunspots. Let's see, I went to this. Now, let's see here what I got. Let's come back. Okay, so yes, okay, so the 3 types, the 3 classes are C class, that's the lowest, that's the least impactive. M class, that's the middle, obviously, and then the X are the ones that disrupt stuff. Now, what the Newsweek article was saying is that this has about a 10% chance. I'm going to go back here. This thing has about a 10% chance to break a sun flare loose that would be in that delta category that would create the X class flares to Earth. And this was the stat that I was curious about. It takes 8 minutes when one of those breaks loose, traveling at the speed of light to reach the Earth. And so what they're saying right now, this evening, is that there's just a 10% chance it could happen. But there is a definite tie to behaviors on Earth. So when you have these things like that have been happening over the last couple of weeks, now that's not tied here, but it's just, I'm just pointing out another brick in the wall, if you will, of things that can be affecting our collective consciousness, our collective behaviors. Mars, from astrology, Mars is in Gemini. That's a very tense aspect. So there is a lot of stuff pressing down on us right now. We have a full moon later. We have Mercury going retrograde on the 9th. So it's like there is just a lot of stuff that when you accumulate and you don't think that these things don't affect the planet. I have a really good friend who is a ham operator, and he tracks those solar flares. And he said that we're in this 11-year cycle right now where basically getting the ham skip to Africa, for example, is not happening. So this stuff definitely affects those of us on Earth. It does, for sure. Here was the chart of the geomagnetic activity today. I've been watching this. So 4 is low, 2 is obviously just almost nothing. And then 6 is considered minor as a scale. But we'll be watching this. I'll be putting posts up. And then the other chart, of course, is the Schumann Resonance, just to have taken a look at that. So I wanted to show you that just because it's another thing out there to keep an eye on. Now, let me get caught up with a couple of your notes. That's a good thing to do. Hey, Kathleen. All right, put a bubble around that car. I'm not kidding. Put a bubble around that car every time you leave someplace. New protection. It's crazy what's going on out there right now. So just put the bubble around and then go drive. Have a good time. Be safe. Yeah, I know. See, that's the deal, Dominic, is like, if you're conscious, you're kind of aware of this stuff and you play with it. And if you're not conscious, it jolts you, and you don't. So and because you're not conscious, then you do react. It's like you say, you're not guiding your life, you're reacting to stuff around you. So that's exactly what people are doing. Wow, you do. Welcome to the fall of 2022, right? If that big one pops. Right now we're minor. Right now I just was throwing this out. So it's like it's not happening. Even though it looked like it went up, 6 is minor. So it's been bouncing back and forth. I've got this alert on my phone now. I got an app that's pretty cool. And by the way, if you want those apps, just search up in your app provider. It would be solar weather, solar flares, solar activity, any of those, and whatever apps are available on your device would show up. Hey, Darren. Well, I'm tired. It's been a long day. Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. I'm just chilled. It's the end of the day. I'm present with you guys. I made up a nice thing of tea, and I'm just very chilled. And it'll be nice to wind it down from here. So, and this is the thing that I keep coming back to, is really evaluating, like on this constant basis, are we creating our lives consciously, or are we reacting to all this stuff around us? But I do like to look at these things because, just as Dominic said, it shows us what everybody else is doing. So when you start to see stuff around you and you start to see these patterns, and then you look and you see that, yes, there are influences with the collective energy, then you have to up your game. And that's what we do. That's what we're here. So, wow. Well, thank you, Tiffany, for including us. Really appreciate that. Yeah. There are so many of these. Oh, thank you, Brielle. My new adopted kids and grandkid, grandson. Got several now in here, so this is fun. And if you guys haven't heard the podcast episode with Brielle and Sean about their Peaceville community that they're building in the Florida Panhandle, it is absolutely worth a listen. What they are up to and doing is incredible. It truly is. No. Sorry. There's not enough of it there. Got to own that one. But look, Mars and Gemini is also a trigger. I think, see, this is the balance. I'm really glad you posted that, Melissa. Thank you for that, because we become aware of what's going on around us. That's the whole idea of the Fun Astrology podcast, is to make us aware of the weather, what's going on, right? And as we're aware of the weather, then we strategize our own game plan of how to respond to it. And sometimes we don't have to be on such pointed guard, if you will. And then there are others, like traveling for 22 hours. I would be saging the car. I'm serious right now. This is a time that we all have to up our game. Look at what happened to me tonight. I get a text from a listener who is kind of in crisis mode. And then a guy knocks on my door and says, there's people prowling around the neighborhood at 1 a.m. And we're up here on the side of a mountain in a very quiet community that those people shouldn't be here. That's the collective energy. So when we react, my response to that, I'll tell you what I do, is I just stop. So I have a reaction. Anger, anxiety, shortness with somebody or something, and you just stop. And first thing I do is, I kind of want to know, okay, what's the influence here? So you realize, well, we've got this solar thing. You have to watch that on your phone to know what's going on with that on a continual basis. But look, Mars is in Gemini for the next 7 months. The solar flare thing that's a huge, look at the size of that thing. That thing could pop at any time, right? And the Newsweek article is saying that it's pointing a flare straight at the Earth that is of the highest possible effect. Well, if that pops, then that's going to affect radio communication, likely. Certainly will affect the ham operators, will affect any kind of radio signal that skips, could affect satellites, could affect telecommunications to some degree. Will it knock your internet? I don't know. But it could. So we become aware of these things so that we're prepared. And then I just love count to 5 and realize that I have to now choose. I have to choose how I'm going to respond. You make your pick. You go on a hike, you go on a bicycle ride, you walk around the neighborhood, you walk around the lake nearby you, whatever. But you do something because physical exercise helps release that tension. Okay, we have got to move on because I know we've got a lot of other stuff to cover here. So the other thing that's just been on my mind, I thought would be the perfect theme for tonight, is this reconnection with Source. And Cheryl sent me this yesterday, and I thought, got to share this back. So this is from an unknown author. There was a moment when Moses had the nerve to ask God what his name was. Well, God was gracious enough to answer. And the name he gave is recorded in the original Hebrew in the Old Testament as, it's basically Yahweh. And I'm probably butchering that. If Sophie was here, she could help me. But it's all consonants. There are no vowels. But over time, we have arbitrarily added an A and an E in there to get Yahweh, which we can say even if we're from Oklahoma, right? Yahweh. Presumably because we have a preference for vowels in our language. We sure do. But the scholars and rabbis have noticed that the letters, and I'm not going to try to interpret what they are in the Hebrew, represent breathing sounds or aspirated consonants. When pronounced without intervening vowels, it sounds like breathing. YH, inhale. WH, exhale. So a baby's first cry, his first breath, speaks the name of God. A deep sigh calls his name, or a groan, or a gasp that's too heavy for mere words. Likewise, a person leaves this earth with their last breath, with when God's name is no longer filling their lungs. So when I can't utter anything else, is my cry calling out God's name? Being alive means I speak God's name constantly. So it is heard the loudest when I am. Is it heard the loudest when I am the quietest? In sadness, we breathe heavy sighs. In joy, our lungs feel almost like they will burst. In fear, we hold our breath and have to be told to breathe slowly to calm us down. When we're about to do something hard, we take a deep breath to find our courage. When I think about it, breathing is giving God praise, even in the hardest moments. This is so beautiful. It fills me with emotion every time I grasp the thought. God chose to give, and I'm going to say himself, herself, a name that we can't help but speak every moment when we're alive. And let's don't forget about the feminine characteristics of divinity as well. All of us, always, everywhere, waking, sleeping, breathing, the name of God is on our lips, in our breath. Wow, that is cool. Thank you, Cheryl. That was really awesome. All right. Well, we've had a bunch of requests. So let's get our meditation going. And I've been using the plant, that I found a couple of weeks ago. It's going to key out, isn't it? Look at that. It's keying out. But I don't have my other little camera set up over there, but I just want to show you. I've got it over here. And that's been our little channel kind of passing through. That was the plant that I found a couple of weeks ago that has crystals. It had crystals in it. Little shop down the road here. So for all those requests that have been typed in as well, in addition to Nancy and her family, her son's family, continued prayers around Brock's situation, and then Kevin Kitteridge and his family, Tanya, Carrie, and then all these others that have been mentioned in the chat. We're going to combine all of those and bring them to source. Oh, you know what? The other thing I wanted to mention, and I did this podcast this afternoon, so I'm going to refer you to that. But it was a really cool little thing I found on YouTube from Alan Watts. Don't know if any of you have heard of Alan Watts. That was talking about, what I grew up with and then had to look at differently, of how the Bible was basically captured by the Catholic Church back in the 300s. It's all in the podcast. I'll just refer you to the podcast to listen to the history of it. It's very interesting. But what he was pointing to is this same thing, that the whole message of Jesus was that we are divine within. And the whole, this morning, up there in the audio booth, narrating a chapter of the book for Fred, and he tells the story of Jesus and the disciples getting in the boat to go across the Sea of Galilee, and a storm came up, and the little boat and the disciples were afraid that they were going to capsize and drown. And Jesus was in the back of the boat, asleep on a pillow. So they went back and woke him up and said, Teacher, we're going to drown. Do something. And he probably shrugged And he spoke to the wind and he spoke to the waves, calmed the storm down. And then he looked at the disciples and he said, "Why did you wake me up? Why didn't you handle this?" That's been one of Fred's big messages lately. Like, don't ask me for stuff, Fred says. Don't ask me for where do you find something. Don't ask me for this. Don't ask me, because we have the ability. And it's just part of an exercise. Go find it yourself. Now, I know there are some times when it is more expedient to, pick up the phone or, hey, can you tell me what da-da-da, and that. But the point is, what Jesus was saying to those disciples is, you have the ability to fix this. Why didn't you use it? And my encouragement for all of us tonight is we have the abilities of highest source within us. And just like that beautiful poem, we're born with it. What perfect timing. We're born breathing it, inhaling it, exhaling it. And just like the message was distorted back in the 300s, even today the message is distorted because we're afraid to mention the name of God. So we come up with universe, or we come up with source, or we come up with all these, and that's fine. It's a name, it's a moniker. But the point is that we are boldly connected with source. And I love that poem, Cheryl. Thank you, because it tells us that we have that as part of our very nature. And yes, we have our humanity, and we have to dance between the two. And the more that we lean toward embracing that we really truly do have that divinity within us, the I am, then we start using it. And we start commanding things just like Jesus. Jesus said, I made a note of John 14:12 in the podcast. Greater things than I did, you will do if you believe. So, like what Fred asked in the book, You Can Heal Anyone. Why are we not? Same question Jesus asked couple thousand years ago. What are you waking me up for? You guys should have handled this. So the question is, are we going to be playing in the big leagues? I am. And I know you are too, because you wouldn't have been logging on to this thing every Sunday night for the last 13 months to play shallow. And this is the whole idea of this thing, as you know, is that we are facing a time in our history where the A team has to take the court. And this whole effort is just for us to play full out, to play A team game, and to support each other doing that. So when we need help, we ask for it, like our listener did. When we say, hey, so, I'm being a little snappy right now. Okay, that's great. Don't blame it on anything outside. Take it inside and choose. And that's the strength. That's the assistance. That's the help. And we help each other. Oh, I feel an ohm. Wow. Lori, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, I take everything I said about the solar flare back. There it is, from across the pond. Wow. All right. I just feel an ohm to get us started. So I love you guys. Let's let's do a good ohm together and talk about breathing. So let me go back here. So just think on the inhale. The first two symbols of the Hebrew Yah, Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh. I don't know how I don't think the A is in there. It's Yahweh, I think. Yahweh. So inhale, exhale. Let's think of that as we're doing this. Let's just do one big long ohm together. Exhale. Inhale. If you're new, this is a time when we've come together as people from all over the country and literally all over the world to connect our energy, to connect with each other, to send that energy and prayer to each other, and then collectively together to send that same love and connection and energy up into the sky and out to the planet and out to the world, this side, this side, out to the world that needs it so badly. To send love, to send peace, to send white light. Chances are in doing this, you will feel that connection. Many have. It's been so strong that on probably 7 or 8 occasions now, Facebook sends us a note that says that we are clipped on some audio in certain countries because we've been playing classical music, and it lists the songs. And as you can tell, there's no music, but they hear it, their servers hear it, so the angels are with us, and it's a beautiful thing. And we pray rain. So just close your eyes and listen to the sound for a minute. As you listen, think of the prayers flowing over all these requests. Praying rain. Not praying for anything, praying the very thing itself. Let's touch the computer or touch the phone or tablet, whatever device you're listening to, or just however you want to connect, whatever's comfortable for you. Some form of physical connection. Maybe your hand over your heart chakra, your solar plexus, wherever you're being called, as we tie ourselves together. Tell you what, let's do. Let's use the image of this bowl. Just a Tibetan bowl. And all the requests. There have been so many tonight that I don't want to leave any laying around loosely. So you could even touch the bowl if you're watching from your phone. So many requests came in today. And that's exactly what's going on in the world around us. That's exactly what we're talking about. And even if something wasn't mentioned, you might be feeling that anger, that snappiness, that sharpness, that quick to respond, and you wish to respond in a different way. Put it in the bowl. It's okay. You might have physical pain that hasn't been mentioned. Put that in the bowl. You might have emotional pain. You might be on the edge of tears. Or the opposite, you might be so calloused and sucking it up that you're trying to carry the whole weight of the world on your shoulders. Put all of that in the bowl. You might be fighting a chronic disease. You might have an acute new disease. Maybe a friend needs surgery. A family member trying to quit smoking so that they can have a procedure. You might look at your life and wish that you were operating on a level 10 and realizing, if you were honest with yourself, that it's really a 4 or a 5 at best. Put that gap in the bowl. It's okay. Keep trying. The universe will show you how and what the next step is. And again, I'm thinking of Jesus, who said, "Cast your cares on me." And in that context, the me is the divine connection. So as we breathe into these requests, we cast them to source. We're using the bowl as a convenient catching place. So now, with all those requests in the bowl, let's send them to source together now. In the name of the Most High, we together, standing around this bowl, lift all these requests up and, in the name of the Most High, command their answers. We command the healing. We command the emotional healing. We command the unmet needs to be met. We command that obstacles to us living our highest timeline be calmed just like the raging sea back in the old story. And we exercise that power that we have been told to use. Stepping up with full confidence that what we not ask, but say, speaking the word, it is done. It is healed. It is resolved in the name of the Most High. These requests are being met, even now, energetically. In the name of the Most High. And now, as we all stand around this bowl like we were standing around a campfire with loaded stick full of marshmallows, let's join our energies together. Energetically touching each other by holding hands or locking arms or putting a hand on a shoulder or cooking someone else's marshmallow for them. Whatever it is, to just connect. And just picture a bunch of us together out on a starry night. And there is no COVID because we just commanded that away. So we can hug freely. So just energetically give people who you've seen their names tonight come up on the screen, give them a big hug, unapologetic. And they'll feel it. This is a safe space. Doesn't a hug feel good, even if it's an energy hug? Touch is so missing in our world right now. There's no fear. There's no embarrassment. There's no pretending, no facades, just pure connection and pure love. And now let's all get in a big circle, holding hands. Who's on your left? Pick somebody from the night. Pick a name that you've seen. Maybe you scroll back up through the comments and just find somebody that calls out to you. That's your perfect person to have on your left side. Same thing on the right. You think, well, I don't want just two. Well, we're all in a circle. We're all connected. It's all good. We're holding hands. We're feeling the energy of each other going around the circle. The energy is so strong, it becomes emotional. You have to feel it, tune into it, experience it. Feel it in your heart chakra. Pure love, the highest emotion, energy that we humans can experience. And now we lift up our bowl, our marshmallows, our lives, our hearts, our souls up to the sky in a big beam of white light. Send it up in the sky. All together now, collectively, we are one. Our energies are one. And we send it with intention to a planet that needs it so badly. And as we send that energy out, may it find its way to people who are hurting, who need it, to souls who have no clue how to live consciously. Just reaction. It's all the tool they have. One tool in the toolbox, react. Send them that white light energy. Maybe they'll find the way. To those who are creating war right now on our planet, some with tanks and aircraft, etc., and some right in their own home with their own children or with their employees. Send them the white light of peace. And now, bringing this energy to the point of our own, our own protection. We've already heard people are going to be driving. People are going to be having surgery. People might have malicious characters roaming around at night. Maybe that's a metaphor. Maybe that couple in those photographs were knocked on this door right before healing convergence to say, watch out for those who would steal your own energy. Don't let them have it. Guard up. And we protect each other, because the power here is in the group. So you give the energy of protection to the others around the circle. So we have everybody protecting everybody else. That's a strong wall. And then we put a great big hedge of energetic white protection of a bubble around all of us. And let's even take it a step further. We have angels at the north and the south and the east and the west, and also across the top of the bubble, protecting us. See it, feel it, claim it. It's yours. And may that guard us and guide us this week. Now let's take one big collective step toward the inside of the circle together. 2 steps. And release the hand of the person to your left and to your right, and put your arm around their neck and their shoulders. Big team huddle. We need that close connection right now. We need the bond. We need that arm around our neck. And whisper to your left, I love you. And whisper to your right, and I love you. If you were able to imagine and connect with that energy, and you probably are feeling quite a buzz right now. That was strong. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the love. Wow. Thank you for being here, doing this every week. I couldn't imagine not doing it now. And you just can't replicate this by yourself. Just can't. Hey, Scott. Love you too, brother. You know, I had here this slide. We talked about this a couple of, months ago, I guess now, but a lot of new people here that I tell you what, I listened to that song by Ram Dass. You can find it on Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, all those. I am loving awareness. And I put it on the loop and I just play it over and over and over. And then doing this group for over a year now puts us all in the mentality of I am loving awareness. And like what he says in the song, when I am loving awareness, then I love everything I'm aware of. Well, that's everything. That's everybody. You can't help but not love. And love is the highest emotion and energy. So when we love, we create this natural protection. But what we talked about a couple of months ago is that in the Greek language, which of course the Bible's, the New Testament was written in Greek. And this is where there's, it's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's some good stuff in here. That we say love, and that can mean literally everything from, often gets misinterpreted. If you were to walk into the company lunch room, break room, and go up to an employee and give them a big hug and say, "I love you," you'd be ushered out. Well, the Greek language separates love into 3 words. And eros, erotic love, that's the one that you would have been ushered out for, and rightfully so, because if we Americans or we Westerners say, "I love you," it could mean that. Very improper context. But for those who are in a loving relationship, eros is a beautiful thing. Eros is that erotic love of sharing yourself with another person. Phileo, Philadelphia, brotherly love. That's kinship. That's our circle. We're all in this together. I called my brother over the weekend. We had a great talk. His birthday is next weekend. Brotherly love. But the highest form of love in the Greek language is agape. And that is spiritual love. That is source love. That is the love that Fred talks about in levels of energy. 500, 600 level energy where angels come to meet humanity. And that's the love that we're sharing here. When we're around the circle, when we're connecting, the reason that these comments say things like this, that's agape love. This is the power of sharing it together. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Let me go back to the LA sunset. How about that? Thank you, Caroline Horn. Hey, for those of you who dropped pictures into that Facebook post, thank you. I downloaded them all. I have them in a file on Dropbox. If you sent one that is vertical and you have one that is horizontal and you'd like to send it, shoot the horizontal one over. It's not that I can't work with the verticals. The horizontals are easier. So I just grabbed the horizontals tonight. But actually, here's an example of this is a vertical. I can't show it to you because this is a vertical laid over a horizontal. So we certainly they can be used, and I'll play with them and I'll make stuff up with them and it'll be fun. But if you have any horizontals and you'd like to just drop them into that post, then I'll go in and grab them too. So thank you for that. That was really fun. And it came at a time when we really needed it too. So, I love all these hearts too. Thank you, Brielle. Those are great. All right, you guys, I have had a long day and I still have some stuff that I need to do tonight. So I'm going to, let's go ahead and wrap this up for this evening. We'll do an after Zoom in one of the weeks to come. I think it would be great for us to all have where we get on Zoom afterwards, like we did, 2 months ago or so. Those of you coming in October, it is getting chillier at night by a few degrees, 5 or 6 degrees cooler at night. And the trees are starting to turn even down at this elevation. So it's coming and it's going to be absolutely spectacular when you guys get here in October. So can't wait to see you, hug you, and have you here. It's going to be just super, super great. Oh, tell you what, Nancy, I'm so touched. And Nancy wasn't on. This is Nancy that we mentioned earlier, who lost her son. And just know that we're praying for you guys. We sure are. So thanks for tuning in. I know they had stuff going on and they were able to catch the end. If you want to watch the replay, it's certainly available. But yeah, we're sending you all kinds of love. Just don't have words. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Thanks, Darren. Nancy, thank you so much. And I know we did get, I saw it up here. I saw it back up there. I did see your other post about, yeah, right there. So we did get that in there. And I know you brought it to the bowl too. Arnaldo, you are such an encouragement to me, man. You are. Oh, this guy gets up at 1 and 2 in the morning to come do this with us. So you go to bed, my friend, get a good night's sleep, and we'll see all of you guys on the podcasts this week. Got a Fun Astrology already talking about tomorrow, and we'll set the energy up and keep watching the sky, and we'll keep finding our highest timeline every day. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week here. And we'll see you on the podcasts and in the Facebook group. Love you. Agape you. Have a good week.